Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. Today we're diving in depth into a very requested topic actually, which is the best provokers for Head of Decay in Hydra. And in order to discuss this, I have none other than Ivy League Gaming, the victor of the Deadwood Jedi faction games Hydra competition, actually Spider as well, Spider and Hydra competitions. Ivy, how are you doing, Ivy?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, we just recorded a video over on Ivy Lee's channel where we were looking at the mischief tanks. I had done a video on this before, but really my opinion had changed on quite a few of them. And there's been quite a few new discoveries as well since then. So I really recommend you guys go over and check that out as well. It's one of the big ways to smooth out the randomness of your Hydra runs and make it easier. Do you want to start us off then with your first choice for a provoker to lock down the Head of Decay?
Sure, yeah. First, I'll mention quick, if you guys remember the beginning of Hydra, there was no provoking the Head of Decay. That was a new nerf to Hydra, I guess,
Yeah.
that they did. And they more recently added that with bad timing to, let's just mention him again first, Bivalde.
I know.
Let's start with our friend Bivalde. He came out right before Hydra did the nerf, so it was confusing. We're like, why is his kit so quirky? This must have something to do with the nerf that's coming to Hydra. And sure enough, after Bivalde's fusion was done, provoking the Head of Decay was possible. Of course, by provoking, we don't mean he literally only attacks one person. He just can't use his other skills in this case, but his kit was so weird, and it just seemed like it was very specific. So I think they had bad timing with this fusion, and most people just vaulted him.
Yeah, 100%. He was so much, and just by 2 weeks or so, I think it was literally 2 weeks between it.
Yeah, I
It's
don't know
like,
what they were thinking.
I know. If they had just told us about Hydra first, then everyone would have gone for Bivalde and been super hype. But yeah, he got kind of a little bit forgotten about. But yeah, he's really, really strong for provoking. You were actually bringing him up as one of your top choices as well for a mischief tank, because he does give himself a strengthen buff just on himself for 2 turns. So he can actually double dip. He's got the 50 base resistance as well. He can double dip as your mischief tank while also throwing out a bunch of provokes. 100% chance to provoke AoE on his A2 on a 3-turn cooldown, and then a 50% chance to provoke on the A1. And yeah, he's doing great other stuff too. He's throwing out tons of healing on his A1 and his A3. His A3 also throws out a shield. He throws out the leech on his A2, so helps your team heal themselves up. Places even on weak hits, doesn't matter the affinity. Yeah, he was really high up on my list as well as just that super safe, super consistent option that, like, yeah, he just sort of never lets you down.
And there's one thing to note with him, which is super funny, which I had the problem of during faction games, which could have made my damage so much better even. I forgot, like when the Head of Decay was not out there to provoke, I forgot to use his A2. He was my mischief target, so I wasn't putting up the strength and buff. My mischief targeting completely fell apart. So that's one
Whoops.
funny thing, is like if you are using him as your provoker and your mischief target, just the second the Head of Decay is not out, don't forget to still use that skill, even though it feels like it's doing nothing. It's still quite helpful.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it's interesting. For like being a solo provoker, I run him as a solo provoker, but I ditch the mischief tank thing. So I like run him in the lead and really fast, so he can get as many turns as possible.
That's smart.
But then, like you said, you could run him slower as a mischief tanker, and then you might want to bring in like a secondary provoke champion just to
Yes.
cover the A1 slots. So I'm actually going to jump in for my first choice, which I think is, he's not like a main provoker for this by any means, but he's like, for me, he's probably the best supplementary provoker right now, and that's actually Husk.
I agree.
Yeah, Husk is so good. So Husk, for those that don't know, he has his A1 that has a chance to provoke, bucks up to a 40% chance to provoke. So it's not reliable at all, right? It is very much a supplement, but the reason it's so good is that he comes in with his A2, which is that enemy max HP AoE nuke. He also has got insane base HP, so he's super tanky. He works very like Royal Guard. Royal Guard has really nice utility as well with decreased speed and decreased defense, but Husk comes in, very easy to keep Husk alive. He's one of the tankiest damage dealers, and he just absolutely slams those Hydra heads down and supplements with Provoke. So yeah, do you use Husk like in your keys now
Yes,
more?
always. Every single key, I have a husk.
Oh, so you have 3 Husks fully built, or do you have more than that? 3?
Oh, actually, I guess technically no. My hard key, I didn't finish building the third one yet.
Okay.
But my nightmare and my brittle keys, I both use a Husk skin.
Nice, nice. I'm building my second one at the moment. I keep getting distracted by other random stuff. But yeah, I need to get a second one up. I'm sure there's people that have like 6 husks and like, yeah, 2 husks per key. Let's go. Lock it down. But
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the auto keys that people do for Nightmare, like 1 Husk and 1 Royal Guard. It kind of covers all the bases. I like it.
Yes, definitely. All right. What is your next choice then for Provoker?
I think I'm going to go with my favorite. I mentioned this in my video. Scholord var-gall is who I use for my Nightmare key for Hydra.
Yeah.
He has the exact same utility again with Bivalde being a mischief tank as well. He's a great target with his strength. And same thing, if you don't have the Head of Decay out and you forget to use that Place of Provoke that does like pretty much nothing otherwise, you kind of you still gotta use it for the Head of Mischief if that's out too.
Yeah.
But he provokes on his A2 and it's great because it's also a place and it's on a 2-turn cooldown. So I think I have my Scholord for Nightmare at 271 speed. And I have, and still the crazy stats. I don't know how I did it for the tanking. But then I have increased speed and decreased speed and some turn meter thrown in there too. So but with all of that, he's able to keep Provoke up 100% of the time once the run gets going. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time if I don't get decreased speed on the Head of Decay right away from Mother Sybil. But I actually am able to keep Provoke up with only him with just that A2 100% of the time.
Yeah. He's completely nuts. Like I think he's probably the most underrated champ in the game. Like this guy's insane. I do think that Krisk is obviously overall a little bit better, but there's probably 2 champions, and I'd give Scholord the edge as the next best option for Nightmare Hydra, which is just insane. And then he also comes in outside of Hydra, and he's like, okay, well, I have some really fun cheese stuff for Faction Wars with the Skull Brood. And then he's like, I'm also like the fastest champ to farm the Scarab Boss in Doom Tower as well, because they buffed that too.
I still haven't done that yet.
Yeah, no, I don't have him, so I can't do it. But I want to.
Oh, you need one for Hydra.
I know, it'd be so much fun. But yeah, he's just amazing. And like this move, Skull Claim, is so good. Like it can be a little bit depressing, like you said, when there is no head to provoke. He just has to like wave his hands and just strengthen on himself, and you're like, well, that's every second turn. Okay, well, that's a bit of a bummer. But yeah, AoE decrease attack, his A1 with the multi-hits. Yeah, this guy, he's a monster. And the base stats are like so disgusting. It's not even funny.
90 resistance, so he's easy to build, like you said. Easy.
Super easy. Okay, I'm going to go then. We should mention Krisk at some point. We'll get to Krisk.
Well.
I don't want to mention Krisk now.
Yeah.
I want to talk about someone else first, because I was mentioning a good alternative to Krisk. And I actually think Nekmo thar.
Oh, he's so good.
He's actually, I have him ranked 4th on my list of overall provokers, which is insane because he doesn't have provoke at all. But what I like about him, you were mentioning you're running a few different champions in taunting set, but yes. I've been running Nekmo thar in a taunting set, and he is just insanely good. He's got a solid speed aura. Then he has increased speed with turn meter boost. He gets an extra turn, so then he goes straight into AoE decrease speed leech. Then his A1 is an AoE decrease attack. Tons of turn meter with his passive. I have him in a taunting set, and he just goes. And he's just AoEing every turn, so full auto. He's just slamming the AoEs. You can place
awesome.
Taunting set works on weak hits. Like sets just work weirdly, so no problem. And he just keeps placing the taunt. I've seen a few people using him like in place of where Krisk would go in comps for Nightmare, and it works really, really well. And I've used him as well, and yeah, he's exceptional. Again, he almost pretty much locks down Head of Decay just by himself. It just shows you the power of like having an AoE attack every turn and good speed. And yeah, just a taunting set with the AoE attacks.
Yeah, I wish I had him. I didn't have enough for the guaranteed event when that came out. I was so mad. I really wanted him.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking. That's like I can't pull in any other events now, because I know that when I miss those guaranteed champions, I'm like, I regret that. Lady Kimmy is the big one for me.
I regret pulling my shards today.
Oh, you pulled today? Did you get a video out of it at least?
Yeah, it was entertaining, I hope.
Okay. That's something. That counts. But yeah, Nekmo thar, he's really good. I think as well, he's also pretty much the best speed manipulator for Hydra. It's like the most consistent increase speed, decrease speed combo. Because he does them both on a 3-turn cooldown, basically together. Yeah, he's nuts. So, yeah, Nekmo, he's disgusting. Right, what is your next choice?
I'll go to my AoE hitter that also is great in a taunting set, Coronar.
Yes.
He just, even though he has taunts, throwing him in taunting for his A1, because it's another AoE, plus he has counterattacks, it just gives him tons of opportunity to place Provoke, either through his own skill or through the taunting set. And like as you mentioned, the taunting set can hit through poison clouds, so even if things get a little out of whack and you got some poison clouds flying around, it's okay. He's still really solid.
Yeah. He does a surprising amount of damage, I think, because...
Yeah, he hits hard.
Yeah, like even if he's not built, like you build him to hit hard, I think he can really impress people. Wasn't it Deadwood that had the nuking Coronar in the faction games?
Yes.
In Arena?
In faction games.
It's just
yep.
like...
Oh yeah, he
like,
hits
what?
really hard.
Yeah, it's actually, that shocked me. I did not know he hit that hard. But yeah, like he just, with all the counterattacks and proccing War Master and just the AoE hits adding up. It's really good. The only thing I'm a little bit sad about with Coronar is that Manaya really doesn't need to be there. Like, she doesn't add really anything to Coronar.
I know, she's terrible.
Yeah. Like, she's all right in Arena with him, but yeah, for Hydra, it's like...
otherwise, no.
Doesn't need her. Like, he counterattacks when hit by enemies under decreased attack, decreased defense, decreased speed. It's like, okay, if you're doing Hydra right, that should basically be like 99% of the hits, right?
That's true.
So you don't need the Manaya. But yeah, I think, like I was saying in your video, I think this guy is really underrated because he's Void Legendary. Like, he's just really hard to get. And I like, if you have him, if you're lucky enough to have him and you don't know about him, there you go. Do you have actually a video showcasing him up on your channel people could go check out? Because that would be really cool.
I can't remember, honestly, maybe.
Okay. So it's on the list. It's on the list to do.
I think so. I use him in my hard Hydra team.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I don't use him in my higher levels.
Yeah.
I just don't use it. Because actually, I use him in a team that doesn't have a mischief target, even though he can be the mischief target.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets a little wonky, but
yeah.
Yeah, for hard, it works pretty well.
All right. I tell you what, viewers, comment down below if you want Ivy Lee to do a video on Coronar, okay? You got to comment down below, and then she'll see, and she'll do it.
He's good. He's really good.
These are the sneaky strategies. All right. Okay. I'm going to pick the next one. Okay, let me get the obvious one out of the way first. Let's just get this out of the way early enough in the video, because we've been dancing around him. I've mentioned him a couple of times. It's Krisk. Okay, Krisk is ridiculous. He has the AoE Provoke on the 3-turn cooldown. It's not enough on its own.
It's not enough.
It's not enough.
He can't be the only provoker.
No, but like you put him in with the Husk and it's like, all right, we're good.
Yeah.
I think he can even be pretty good with Nekmo Thar, believe it or not. I think they could be a nice combo. One thing that I found with Krisk was that now that I'm using his A3, he's actually not as good at maintaining decreased speed. Whereas before the Hydra nerf, it was just like A2, then 2 A1s. I didn't even use his A3, but now I do use the A3. And he gives himself increased defense, but he gives speed to everybody else. He doesn't give himself speed. So you put in like Nekmo Thar, like someone with increased speed, and then he's getting like one extra buff potentially. Nekmo Thar gives you decreased speed. It's like, I think it's kind of overkill. I think if you got those two champions, you want to split them up. Or if you're like, you just really want to smash the hardest level, you put them together and it's like, yeah, okay, we're good now. But yeah, Krisk, we don't really need to talk too much about Krisk. Everyone knows Krisk.
Everyone knows.
He's the best. All right. What is your next choice then for Provoker?
This is probably one of my favorite, and one I've also seen used a lot in Nightmare recently, Solis.
Oh, damn it. You chose...
He does so much.
he was my spicy everything. Pick.
Oh, he's your spicy.
He was my spicy
pick too.
You beat me to it. All right. Go on.
Well, not only does he have Provoke on 2 skills, his A2 and his A3, but his A2 can steal buffs if things go wrong with your mischief targeting or something. His A3 extends debuffs, which is awesome for keeping up, like, if you have like an Ugo, block buffs, decrease defense, he'll help keep that up the whole time. Or HP burns from a Geomancer, spreading those around, keeping up the whole time. He's just he's surprised me when I started using him because I didn't think of him as anything else but damage and provoke. And I
Yeah.
didn't even know that he had like debuff extension. I had no idea what I used him for like 2 years, didn't even know he had it. Just like, oh, okay, I guess he does this too.
Yeah, he's totally insane. I like to think that what happened is that people got Ragash and they're like, maybe Ragash is a better nuker than Solis. And Solis was like, I can't have that. I can't have my top seat dethroned. Everyone, remember what I can do for the Hydra. Remember all this utility. And then we're all like, oh, yeah, actually, that is actually kind of insane. Oh, my God. Yeah, I think he's insane. I think he's super good. I'm really interested to... I don't have him, so I can't test him out, but I'm really interested to test him out because, like you said, there's so much utility in there with the buff removal, extending debuffs, 2 different provoke skills. Just, one's not enough. You gotta have 2. 2 at 100% as well. Yeah, it's pretty insane. Does his does his A2 when it attacks at random, is it one of those skills where it always targets the person that you click?
Yeah, as long as you click the Head of Decay, it always.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it. I know that Yoshi the drunkard, his one is totally random, but I think it's because it only attacks 2 targets. But I'm not sure. Anyway.
I mean, the more I think about it, yeah, I think even the attack is random. The place always is the provoke for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, even the attack, if I'm trying to strip off buffs or something at the same time, like it's so great if it ends up getting a little bit messy and they steal your block debuffs, then you're like, nope, I'm still placing provoke anyway.
Yep.
I love it.
All right. Yeah, no, he is awesome. He is one of my most wanted champs. Another champ I really want, I'll jump to, that I think is really, really good for this and super consistent as well, is Kantra the Cyclone. So I think it was one of the first keys I did, doing like a showcase on a different account, which was like a 1 key for Nightmare that wasn't like using a Krisk. I think it was one of the first ones I did was with Kantra instead, because she comes in with a crazy passive. But the important part here, she has a 75% chance to place Provoke on enemies under 5 or more debuffs at the start of her turn. So just every time she gets a turn, she has that 75% chance to Provoke if they have enough debuffs. And then she also does some crazy stuff. She's lowering their accuracy, she's taking less damage, and she's healing a bunch as well, which is awesome. She can place debuffs and weak hits, and her A2 throws out a whole bunch of debuffs, albeit not super consistently, but she does do it.
Kind of a hot mess.
Yeah. It's great fun, though. It's a ton of fun.
It still works.
Yeah, and then she can steal on the A1. So, yeah, she's awesome. She works really well in the lead with, I think she's accuracy. Yeah, accuracy in all battles. She can be really good with a Shamail, boosting her up. She takes loads of turns. The extra turn, she's provoking every time she gets a turn, spamming out this A2. She's very good in, like, reflex set. A whole bunch of cool stuff you can do with Kantra. She's really nice. Have you tried her at all? Do you have her?
Yeah, I use her, I think, in my hard key most times.
Mm-hmm. Are there any, do you have any particular combos to put with her to ensure the 5 debuffs? Or is it just like,
I think I use her... I don't know. I mean, I always have Ugo in every team because Ugo.
yeah.
Because Ugo.
Yeah.
Decrease defense and block buffs and leech, if you can get lucky with that thrown around. I try to make sure the leech is always on the Head of Decay too, just to help make sure that it's just another chance to make sure 5 buffs are up. I think I also use Mashalette in my team too, that I have her in. Or Lady Kimmy, depending on what I was doing. I was playing around with a few, but I was trying to make sure I always had enough extra buffs going on to... If I put her in the team, I don't want to rely on her random buffs or debuffs. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a really nice bonus when they drop in, but they're definitely not 100% reliable. Yeah, you can get in that scary situation where she just won't place anything on Decay, and you're like, how did you not place anything at all, Kantra? What are you doing? And then sometimes she's just like God tier, and it's like, okay, now we're talking. All right.
Exactly.
Do you have any other picks here?
I do have a couple picks, and they're both spicy, very free-to-play, friendly ones. Very budget. So I'm going to go with the most budget of them all, Master Butcher.
Oh, he's a dwarf, right?
Dwarf rare. He can be the only provoker. He's kind of amazing. He's got it on his A1 and his A2. And then he has the heal. He's so good. And increase attack, increase crit rate. But that's like, meh, but... Just as a provoker plus healing, he's actually surprisingly good for Hydra. Now, I know that I don't think he'd be like Nightmare Hydra, but I have seen people use him in even brutal Hydra.
Oh wow. That's really cool. I did not realize that he had the 2-turn provoke on the A2. That's actually really solid.
2-turn, exactly.
Huh. Very cool. The A1 is definitely not reliable, 30%, but it's a nice
but
supplement.
it helps. There's just another chance if,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like you bring in increased speed, decreased speed, and you build him with good speed, and he's gonna get back to barking orders.
Or like you said, like a Husk just as insurance in the team too.
Yeah. That's cool. That is cool. Yeah, I like that. A rare option. Nice. Okay. Actually, let me stick in dwarves. I'll throw in my spicy pick, which was a recent find. I mentioned it on your video as well, which is Molly, actually. Molly comes in and she has a provoke that has a 50% chance to provoke for 2 turns. Now, it's on the shorter cooldown. It's 3 turns. But like it's got that bit of a gamble. You gotta definitely want a supplement in there because she's not going to be reliable to lock it down constantly. But the fun thing that she can do as well is she puts reflect damage on herself, so you can build her with high resistance. She starts with 80, so it's it's a good starting point to say the least. And she can be a mischief tank as well, which is really cool. And then with her passive, giving you 25% turn meter whenever she gets hit by that Head of Mischief, and then bringing revive as well. So I think she's actually a really cool spicy option. Not the best provoke, but a good provoke and decent mischief tank, which is, again, a lot of really useful utility that opens up other team building options.
She might be worth putting in a taunting set if you can get the stats too, because her A1's pretty useless.
That's very true. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, taunting set, reflex, anything that's gonna just more chances.
That's true. Reflex or
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I'm excited to test her out. I'm gonna test her on the test server. I'm gonna feed a bunch of my.
I haven't used her for Hydra yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna feed a bunch of my dupes and buy her the token trader next time we've got the test server. Which I hadn't thought about. Someone on our clan Discord said it, and I was like, oh yeah, Molly does make sense. I can't do it though. I don't have her. And he was like, dude, just buy her on the test server. And I was like, oh my god, you're a genius. You should be the content creator, not me. What are you? Oh my god. All right. You said you had another spicy pick that's free to play friendly?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jizzo, our lovely, instantly vaulted, boring epic.
Yes.
That usually don't break out unless you're really desperate for the epic Lizardman secret room.
Yeah. I actually did bust him out for the Lizardman epic secret room, and then I vaulted him again. I was like, yeah, you know what? Get out of here. Back in the vault. Yeah.
Yeah, what we talked about with him on my video is that not only does he have a provoke for 2 turns, it's a 4-turn cooldown, so he might need some other extra oomph in there, but sort of someone else to help. But he also can be a mischief target too, either himself or he could choose who the mischief target is by using his A2 and placing it on whoever the hell you want it to be. So I think he's got enough utility to at least either be a mischief target and a provoker, and or maybe throw him in a taunting set too, because again, another A1 that's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Or again, reflex set. I think when I tried using him and the test server in a more budget friendly team, I had him in a reflex set, and that was pretty darn solid.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I have so few reflex sets. I think I've got 2. I think they're both.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think they're both on Geomancers. I'm seriously at the point where I'm like, Ice Golem is actually the best dungeon for me to farm.
It's the most important.
Yeah, I'm
taunting and reflex. I want everyone in taunting and reflex.
Taunting and reflex. I was like, what has happened to the world where Ice Golem is the best dungeon? It's nuts. Jizzo's amazing. I mentioned in your video as well, I think that drexthar is a really good combo, free to play combo with him. So maybe when you're 6 months into the game, you get drexthar, throw them together. Drexthar does bring a supplemental provoke. And drexthar's super good as a mischief tank, but he doesn't have any buffs. So Jizzo can let him do that. And they're very good at locking down the Head of Decay when they're together. So yeah, that's a really nice combo. Drexthar's got a decent A1. Just being a mischief tank with his passive is real nice.
I haven't used drexthar in Hydra yet, so I might have to try that.
No, he's a great free-to-play option. I've got mine has never been booked. I've been forever with the unbooked drexthar. But he's great because he has the cool passive that he gets 10 resist for every enemy under burn. So it's an extra 40 resist. He's got 50 baseline. Again, it's, it's a little depressing, I guess, when you compare it to Skull Lord or Molly or someone that comes with like the 80 or 90 base resist. But this is still, compared to most champions, it's still really good. But yeah, you get smacked a lot by Head of Wrath if you bring him in and he's counterattacking with a three triple hit A1 and all the burns popping off. Head of Wrath is like, I'm just gonna explode constantly. Let's go. All right, I have one final pick. Ooh. I guess it's actually not really that a surprise at all. Again, free to play friendly. It's Seeker. So this. Oh
yeah, I forgot about Seeker.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward for a champion that pretty much anyone who gets him is going to build. He's great in arena. He's obviously top tier, S tier for clan boss. He's really good for Hydra as well because he has the A1, 25% books to a 50% chance to provoke, and I'm 90% sure that it's actually a 50% chance to provoke per hit. I'm pretty sure I've seen him miss it on the first hit and place it on the second hit. I could be wrong. It might be just a 50, but if it's a 50%...
I think that's just a visual thing. Yeah, I think it's like...
Oh, it could be.
You have one chance per attack, but it could happen on the first or the second. It just...
Interesting.
The way they show it, yeah.
It could be that. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's say it is the 50. Let's not overhype him.
Let us know in the comments below if you know the answer for that.
Yeah, but I mean, either way, 50% chance to provoke it's a really good, solid amount. And then
when he comes,
yeah, and then he's also his A2 is giving you the turn meter boost and increased attack, and then with the extra turn, it's like the Nekmo thar thing where every time he takes a turn, he's gonna be going in and doing an attack. So he gets to have that chance to provoke every single time, as well as giving your team lots of turn meter. The increased attack is very, very helpful, especially on like lower difficulties where like those attack based nukers really shine. Not so useful on the higher difficulties, but yeah, I think he's consistent. And then his passive is not super good because hopefully you don't get crit very much, but hey, if the Head of Wrath is a negative affinity or Blight's a negative affinity, something with AoE, it's gonna proc it reasonably well and give you some more increased defense and himself a bit of healing. But yeah, I just use him in my clan boss build and I throw him into like hard Hydra, and he's awesome. He does a great job.
Smart. Yeah, I don't think I've tried him in hard Hydra yet. The same thing, I use him for clan boss, so I wouldn't want to change him.
Yeah, he just happened to have enough. I actually switched his build a bit. He's lost some accuracy, but hopefully he'd be okay still. I need to test it out this week.
Swap out a banner or something.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I've got my last key has been left until the very last minute of this week's rotation. Been bad. But yeah, do you have? That was my last pick. Do you have a final pick to finish us out, or?
No, I think you covered the bases pretty good. There are a ton of other provokers in this game, but most of them just don't either have enough utility to make them worthy of Hydra besides provoking, or they're just on like an A2 with a 4-turn provoke and like, meh. I think, yeah, him.
Yeah, that's one of those examples.
That's an honorable mention. People have, yeah.
I'm skeptical about him, just like you were saying. I don't know if he does. He doesn't do anything else, right? He just hits them. And then his passive sucks. So it's like, okay, you can lock down. I think it's a budget option. I think he's amazing because he's super good for Magma Dragon, and he's gonna lock down the Head of Decay. So I think as a budget option, if you get him, he doesn't need books because it's 3-turn provoke with 3-turn cooldown. Just leave him unbooked. He's amazing for both those bosses. It's a really low investment for a really easy way to deal with them. But he doesn't do anything else. He just sits there and he's like, "Come at me, bro. I gotta reflect so much damage." And then you hit him and he's like, "Okay, I lied. I don't really reflect anything. Never mind." I tried.
I mean, maybe the Head of Wrath might do enough to make it sort of worth it. I don't know though. I know that I've seen a couple people praise him in videos, but yeah, unless you're lucky enough that you have the perfect combination of between 5 people, every other basis for Hydra is covered, then it's hard to find him a space in the roster. And I think that's the reality when you're talking Nightmare Hydra, even Brutal Hydra. You're not trying to plan a team for just 4 heads. You're planning a team for 6 heads because you know damn well they're all coming out. So you can't just bank on early. Like, sure, maybe normal or hard Hydra you could get by if the Head of Decay is in the starting rotation and everything else is easy to figure out. But if you're higher up, it's just not useful, I think, honestly.
That's true. All right. Well, there we go. Look, thanks for joining me. And again, everyone remember in the comments let Ivy Lee know if she needs to do that video, okay? Let her know. We need to know. And yeah, make sure to jump over and check out her channel at the same time. We did a video on mischief tanks as well over there, which is, I think, also really interesting. So yeah, anything you want to say here at the end?
No, thanks for having me. Yeah, I've recently really enjoyed Hydra. I know it sounds so silly, but at least I know someone else I could do Hydra chats with that actually enjoys a little bit of Hydra. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually enjoy Brutal and Nightmare more than I do Hard. I find Hard annoying dealing with like whoever's left, but
Oh
I
yeah.
actually find Hydra's kind of fun. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to finally stop hating Hydra. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. I think a lot of people sort of get there eventually. At least I think so. You hate it at the start, and then you kind of get into a swing of it. I don't know. Maybe it's a bad sign. Maybe that's a psychological flaw. I don't know. But no, it is great. And yeah, new head coming soon. Who knows what that's going to do? And blessings as well. Who knows how that's going to shake everything up in terms of like team builds and stuff like that. Look at all these Duchess Krisks. Disgusting. Oh my God. Unbelievable. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Ivy Lee, thank you for joining. We will see you all next time. Bye-bye.